G'day guys, Scott from RV Solutions here. Just want to take you for a quick little video tour on the Wonderland XTR 22'00". This is a family van, so bunks, toilet, shower, and just about everything you could possibly want on a caravan. Starting on the outside, all the way around I suppose, so this has an option to move the Dometic full slide out kitchen. So you've got a 3-burner stove, big food prep area, chopping board, sink, you've got everything already in it, plus you've got storage too. Super convenient to use, so it's really easy. We've used these quite a few times. The fact that it actually comes out a fair bit away from the van as well. I sort of found that a little bit better too, because the outside cooking I've used against the van, they do tend to get a little bit of fat stain on here, which isn't a problem, just another thing you've got to do in clean. This one as well, so you've got all your standard lights, but you've also got bug lights in these as well, so 3 of those. So the idea of the bug lights is, if you are in an area that has heaps of bugs, you can just flick them amber instead of white. And you basically don't get them the bugs that are flying when you're around the caravan on the outside, so it does make a fair bit of difference for use as well. Also found they're quite bright, so especially when they're on white, the actual output's really good. So what I found on Honeycomb lights is they are a little bit dim on the outside, and you can sit outside, even though you've got all 3 lights and it's still just a little bit dim. These are super bright. So one of the other really good features on the Wonderland XTR as well is the airbag suspension. Just been fitted with the RedArc suspension too. Basically, the speed at which you can raise this van is quite astounding. You're looking at about a 5-inch lift on these too. As you can see, it's quite a lift. So if you are going in an area where you do need that little extra ground clearance, super handy. Where I probably use it most is basically in the middle of the van. As you can see, you can do one side to the other, just like a remote. So especially if you're standing in the front of the van and you want to level up, it's super easy. Not only that as well, most off-road caravans do typically have quite a lot of ground clearance, which is fantastic for off-road. But what it means is you've also got a huge step up into the caravan. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but a caravan you're probably going to be stepping in and out of 20, 30, 40 times on any one trip. If you've got old legs, then you're going to end up with pretty big fires or sore knees. So, yeah, this just makes that step a much more sensible distance to the ground. It comes with all the other sort of standard features you find in caravans as well. Picnic table, but these guys got an extra step, got a little light in there. Outside Bluetooth speaker on these is fairly kick-ass as well. Does crank pretty well, so you can annoy all your neighbours with that. Full length Dometic boarding on this one as well. So on this particular van as well, they've gone for the instantaneous hot water system. Again, I've spoken about this before. It's not generally my pick, the instantaneous hot water system. I typically prefer the gas storage. However, this particular one does work quite well too. External shower, standard. So super handy if you're staying at somewhere like Ningaloo or one that sort of area, and you just want to get the sand off the kids before they get in the van. Super handy just to rinse them off, or the dog, or whatever you got. Being this is a double bunker instead of a 3, they've actually got the access door underneath, so instead of just having it and storage from the inside, you've got drawers from the inside and you've got access from the outside too. Super handy. You've got an external shower. It's handy to just keep 2 or 3 towels in there as well. So not only can you get the sand off it before you go in the van, you don't have to go in and get your towel to come back out. So just a handy little function. So we'd use that coming back from Shell Beach in Shark Bay. We just keep sort of towels there because we're only pulling up for a quick swim for an hour or so, and then we're getting back out again. So something else Wonderland do a little bit different as well. Basically the water filling system too. So instead of having separate water filler caps on the outside filling up like you would petrol in a car, these guys have put a little bit more thought into it. So normally in a caravan you have a connection for the mains pressure, and you have your water fillers on the side, one for each tank. How these guys have done is a little bit different. They've got a 1 filler on the side here that fills your tanks and does the mains at the same time. So you've got 3 separate valves in here, because you've got 3 separate water tanks, not including the grain. If you're running off mains, you basically just have all your valves closed. If you want to run off your tanks, basically open up each individual tank and you fill it each one individually. It's a really clever system. It saves you swapping hoses back and forth. It means that the tanks fill up a lot quicker and easier as well. You've got individual breathers for each tank. Your grey water tank's really well located as well. It just means everything on this van is designed to be easy to use. If you're a lazy camper like I am, then they say you model these things quite a lot easier. Again, sort of on this one as well, you've got decent brand tyres, you've got Bridgestones as well, on 18-inch rims. Small stuff as well, like I mean, even having your circuit breaker on the outside as opposed to the inside, if you've got a problem that's right near the lead, it's super easy to detect. Wonderland at the forefront with most of the safety bits. Another 12 volt external part as well. Super handy. I mean, you might want to run anything around here, you know what I mean? So most fridges will have you going to keep around that side of the van, but you've just got options. You know, you've got lighting all the way around as well. So a lot of the guys will have showers and usable area out here, but they'll forget to put lights there, so useless to you at night. You know, or you've got to walk around with a torch. These guys have sort of thought about that. One on the rear, one on the front as well. You've basically got lights the whole way around the van. When you've got a camp and there is literally no other light coming in, it's super handy to have all that extra light. Even to the way they've done the fridge as well. So because they've used a compressor fridge in this particular one, basically they've got a little access door here too, so you can actually get to the back of the fridge easier. Normally they just put a vent on there, so these guys have got to put a door. Because it's low, it's just another place for dust and NOx to come in. So you can see this is the outlet for the gas heater. These guys have opted for a gas heater instead of the diesel. The XTR comes standard with gas or diesel. My preference always gas. I've got diesel on mine, for some reason I'm not sure. I always opt for a gas heater on my one. The reason being is that you've already got a lot of gas in a caravan. It's pretty rare that you have to change out the gas bottles in your van anyway. Once or twice a year if you use your van a fair bit. There's no need to introduce another fuel like diesel. That, and I always believe that I can smell diesel heaters anyway. I know a lot of people can't, but they're a fairly big nose, I suppose. Yeah, so again, I'd always opt for the gas heater as well. Other side of the tunnel boot goes all the way through, pretty standard with one lens. But you'll notice that they use the extra height door. Most standard height doors are only this big, so that means even if you don't order it with the kitchen in, you can always option it later. And these guys have already sort of thought of that for you. You've got a slide out on each side as well. So this one you typically use for a generator, that one for a fridge. In the XTR, you don't actually really need to take a generator because everything runs off the huge lithium battery in here. I think this has got a 450 ampere. So taking a generator is really a bit of a thing of the past for the XTR. So it means national park camping, all those sort of areas where people don't like to have a generator or have the noise. You don't typically need to take it. You've normally got enough solar or enough lithium batteries on here to run your aircon, run your washing machine, use the microwave. Our last trip, we stayed in the caravan park, but we didn't even bother hooking up the 240 volt. So again, you could use that for just about anything. Generally, I put my just outside crack in there pretty much. So fishing stuff, snorkels, flippers, all that sort of gear that normally I don't want my tunnel boot to get dirty. Out here, it worked out pretty well. Again, you can see they're all pretty well dusty too. Everything they do on these vans, as you walk around, you just notice the quality's fairly high. Even down to the sheeting, so these guys, every van's got sort of nice looking ACP sheeting now. These guys use Dibond, they use German sheeting as opposed to Probond, Chinese stuff. I think these guys learned fairly early on that the Probond stuff fades quite quickly. So we've done quite a lot of vans and we've used quite a lot of Probond here when we're fixing up people's caravans, we can use like for like. But this stuff is about 5 times the price of the standard sort of Probond. I think it's like around $400 or $500 a sheet as opposed to about 100. It does make quite a bit of difference, but again, it's all part of what you're paying for. If you're buying an expensive van, you expect expensive components. Checker plate as well runs up a fairly decent height too. Again, just side body protection. When you're going through the scrub, you go for those areas, it's just a little bit more hardy than this stuff too. So again, you'll notice these guys have used the ISI bike rack too. Fairly substantial looking and quite easy to fit. So basically just U-bolt onto the front of the A-frame. They're a substantial looking rack. It doesn't look like it's going to break. A lot of the European racks I find are fairly light duty. They don't seem to be made to handle our roads. A lot of the Thule ones, the Yamaha bike racks, really nice quality, but they do seem to be a little bit lightweight. This van is a fairly serious off-road caravan. It's about as off-road as they come. This bike rack looks like it'll last as long as the van on those sort of roads, where again a lot of the racks you see just don't hold up. You'll notice as well there's another light on the front too, so again it's only small stuff, but if you've got to get out during the night, you've got to switch one of the gas bottles over or turn them on or off or whatever, you've got an option. So you've got light here too. DO35 coupling is standard on these as well. It can be upgraded to the bigger DO45 if you've got a car that can tow over 3.5 tonne, you can upgrade that to suit as well. On our particular van, we will option the same. The max ATM that can be rated for this caravan is 4.4 tonne. Standard, I think this one's been done to 3.5 because these guys have got a cruiser as well. So the carrying capacity of these caravans and chassis is substantially high, a bit over 1,000 kilos on most of these. Oh, hey guys. So this is the inside of the XTR 22'00. I'll just go through some of the features that it's got, and I guess the layout you'll see it as you're looking at it. So there's two types of dust reduction. There's passive and there's active. This is what we've got in our one. This is the Dometic. It's a passive dust reduction. So what I mean by that is it relies on the air coming as you're driving along to scoop up inside it, and then it pressurizes the caravan. The idea is it runs through these. You've got a double filter system here as well, so it stops any dust coming in, bugs or anything else too. We've had really good success with these. Yeah, we haven't used the actual the active one yet. We've just been using the passive, but I haven't had any dust in the van either. So I'd say probably the selling feature of one of these is one, they're slightly cheaper than the other ones, not by a lot, but they're a little bit easier to fit. So if you haven't got one already and looking to retrofit, especially, you don't need to put power to it. So this whole size is the same as a normal hatch, so they generally swap straight over. But also you don't have to run power to it. The other ones you do have to run power to it, which does add a degree of difficulty in fitting. So, but otherwise we've had great success for those too. So again, see over the stars, see it straight up to the stars from your bed too. You've got Sirocco fans as standard. These are the guys who will use the Ranger windows. You've got the inset mirrors into your robes too, and you've got the nice little hidey holes in the corner as well. Super handy. Basically, when I go to sleep, I generally watch my phone, something on my phone, not to disturb my wife, and it's just a little bit handy when you've got that little hidey hole. Also, you can leave your beer in there as well. Other standard features, so that's the controls for your gas heater. This all comes standard with Fusion entertainment system. Basically, in the Wonderlands, everything's super neat and out of the way too. You've got your changeover switch there for your inverter. Everything here, all resettable fuses, all super handy to use. So you're not going out in the middle of the night looking with a torch, looking to find a blade fuse you've got to replace. So basically, if you've got it on a drum, you can reset there. Everything's got a switch. You can set your hot water system pressure here, temperature here as well. You'll notice you've got these USB outlets everywhere. So double there. You've got so many. You can have as many phones as you like. When you've got an outside kitchen, you don't really cook so much inside, so you find that this is actually usable bench space all the time as well. You see these guys have opted for the waterfall bench. Looks amazing. Not sure about practicality of it as well. Probably they're a little bit sharp on the corners. Wear and tear wise, I think they'll probably be okay, but yeah, they look amazing if nothing else. So you've got soft close runners in all the drawers as well. Not to be mistaken for self close, they're soft close. All the cupboards, everything in it, they've got double gas struts, quality hinges and concealed catches. Just everything in the Wonderlands is just, it's a step above. As you're walking around, you can just sort of see the quality's a bit different. Stylish splashbacks, just something that other people aren't necessarily always doing. Even just the small stuff like silicone beading, like to do a nice bead like that on a surface that's not even, it's not always that easy. These guys make everything look superb just about every single time. So they've got Australian made appliances where they can. So you've got they do a lot of Swift hot water systems, a lot of Swift ovens. They're all Australian made. So these guys use Australian where they can, and of course they've got a lot of imported components as well, but not much you can do about that. We've got the same sink in our XTR as well. So this is basically a really good sized sink for bigger stuff. So if you're out and you've got a crab pot because you've been catching crabs like we do, the sink works really well. It doesn't have a drainer, but we found that because we don't use this area, we literally just put a tea towel out, and that was pretty sweet. That worked fine. In the tap as well, you've got a built-in water filter as well as the actual normal tap, so it's all in one, so instead of having that separate one. Microwaves at a good height. Typically these guys will use the Ibis aircon, the Ibis 4, the latest one. That is an actual inverter style aircon, so it will work properly off an inverter, off a lithium battery. Some of the other aircons aren't as newer technology and they do struggle a little bit to run off the inverter. You can see this one's got the upgraded fridge as well. So this has got the 220 litre fridge. It's just about the biggest you can get in the caravan at the moment, so size wise it's pretty good. You can see you can actually leave those cord open as well, so when you come back your fridge doesn't stink. Into the bunk area too. You see you've got two really good sized bunks, so when you go for a double bunker instead of a three, you do end up with really good space in between the bunks. So if you've got 3 children, you're just going to have to trade one of those in. These guys got the front loader washing machine as well. You can also option for the top loader on a slide out. I've used that sort of washing machine maybe 2 or 3 times now. I mean, it's rated to 4 kilos. I don't know if you quite get 4 kilos in there to be honest, but it does work quite well. The other option you've got for these too is you can actually have this all as drawers, and you can actually go for a warm out washing machine in the bathroom by deleting the window. That works quite well too. Each bunk has its own USB, so the kids have got iPads or what have you as well. Also, they've all got their own fan and their own light and their own window. So instead of having a solid wall here and an access door, which is what most caravans seem to have, we've gone for concertina here and concertina here. So what it means is you've got this huge open usable area. So the difference with that is basically if you're going to put the kids in bed, your ass isn't hitting the wall. If you've got basically space to get changed. So when it's my turn to shower, for instance, I'll just shut this concertina door because the kids are all out, and I've basically got an area where I can actually stand up and get dressed. I'm not sort of smashing my elbows on things as well, trying to move around. I'm not a particularly big guy, and even I notice the confines of a caravan. So if you are a big tall fella or woman as well, you've got more room. This has got the Thetford toilet as well with the ceramic bowl. It's even got the swivel round seat so you can turn around and talk to your mates, or reach the fridge, which is conveniently located there. Styling runs all the way through these vans as well, so they sort of don't even skim for the bathroom. You've just got nice plate tapware and sinks, just everything in it feels classy. Even sort of black frame showers as well turn out really, really nice. Everything they do works out really nicely. They're just the style, you just feel that you've added something in a magazine. You know what I mean? Everything's really nice. Showers really good size too. One piece fiberglass, so you're not sort of worried about cracking, you're not worried about leaks. Again, even just the fittings of the bathroom work really well too. It's just a really nicely appointed van. I don't know who's done the colours on this, but they've done a really nice job. So, again, mirrored robes as well. It doesn't sound like much, but obviously my wife, she likes to stand and look at herself after she gets dressed. So, heaps of shelves as well for the kids. So you can option hanger in there as well, but having these shelves too, it's super easy. I mean, my kids don't wear anything that gets hung on a holiday, so they're pretty much shorts and t-shirts for the whole time. So on the lounge in the 22 footer, they're a little bit bigger. So our van's only a 21. Being the 22 does give this extra space in here, so a fair bit more room in the kitchen and a fair bit more room in the lounge. I think for a longer trip we'll probably order a 22 footer at some point because there's actually quite a lot of room here. Now my 3 kids are small enough to basically sit on the smaller lounge, but this is much bigger size. They're always elbowing each other, and this is my part of the couch, no, this is mine. Typically ours are in here for breakfast and dinner. The rest of the time they're outside. So we don't use it a hell of a lot, but we do use it every morning and every night. My wife and I don't generally sit at the table. We sit outside or wherever we're eating, or I eat standing up most of the time, to be honest. So yeah, the actual size in the 22 foot is actually a pretty decent size and quite usable. Especially for a longer trip, I think this is probably what I would option for over the 21 foot or even the 19'6".